tym pięknym dniu, tylko ja tu... Znaczy, ja nie wiem, czy będziemy ogólnie całe komentować. Uwierzcie mi, to jest jedno z trudniejszych meczy. To jest pierwsza rzecz, bo można zauważyć po prostu że po prostu to są po prostu takie... No i teraz lepiej, tak. Nie zawsze jest to dostosowane odpowiednio do tego ekranu, ale witam. Witam, trzeba to jeszcze tylko... O, no piesek piszczy. Jonaś! Więc tak, mamy tyle ciąga. I też bolta próbuję. Nie za chwilę się zbierze. No! Ela! O, właśnie, no to musimy... Mamy regio, No właśnie, ja tu muszę zmienić tylko tytuł na Louisville, no. No i za chwilę przyjdę. No i update all. No będziemy komentowali. Przynajmniej tam postaram. Też ćwiczę bolta. Potem będzie jeszcze limę regionals. Jeżeli chcą zacząć drugim, zagrywam stopa. No i tak. Więc o, cześć Ninuś. No, Luna chce się tam na mojej... No i tak, zagrywam. Elcia, spokojnie. O tak, ja tak jakby co trenuję troszkę. I tak, o. Co się dzieje, La? No już tak niedługo będziemy zaczynali. Naprawdę było wczoraj ciekawie. No. wolno da się powiedzieć. No za chwilę zaczniemy modul, więc... O, teraz! O, Ela. Dobra, zaczynamy! No się zaczyna. Mamy w Louisville w stanie Kentucky. O, nie, tutaj wylew. On dostał, ale jesteśmy.
Hello, Pokemon fans, and welcome to Louisville, Kentucky, where the only thing
Tak,
better than
mamy już day 2, mamy już nawet Halloweenowy special, więc można to odpatrzyć w sumie, bo w sumie Pokemony też robią Halloweenowy weekendzik.
Early in the season, but these players are hungry and ready to play. Yeah, we had an excellent day one of the tournament, and things are really heating up now. Just 2 more Swiss rounds remain before we
Niestety piesek tu szczekał, ale tak, widać, że Pokemony też już przeszukują na Halloween, a tu też materiał. Płycie Behemoth. To się robi.
essentially. With that though, you know what? This isn't the only regional this season. This is only the second after all.
Tak, no to jest drugi, no tam dużo będzie tych właśnie regionalsów właśnie w Europie. I tutaj co ciekawe bardzo mało jest teraz, bo tutaj jeszcze nie ogłoszono pomiędzy Vancouverem a Milwaukee dwóch przed Nowym Orleanem. Anaheim jest. Tegoroczne Worldsy będą oczywiście w Anaheim. Warto zaznaczyć, że teraz są w Louisville i potem długo nic i większość tych regio będzie. I potem mamy International w San Paulo. Jakby ktoś nie wiedział, w San Paulo oczywiście najprawdopodobniej wejdzie już dodatek Sparking Sparks, czyli naprawdę gruby. Nie wiem, czy tym razem będą jacyś... Ale też zauważyliście, że sporo amerykańskich graczy też umiarzyje, że właśnie grę europejską.
early in the season so you aren't scrambling in the 11th hour. Yeah, we no longer have a championship point threshold for players to reach in order to get their invitation. It's just going to be the top number of players from each region here in North America for the Masters division. You have to finish the season within the top 125 trainers to earn your place at the World Championships.
No.
It's a little bit scary, but I'm sure, you know what, we have so many very professional, amazing players, very consistent.
Tak, oczywiście warto zaznaczyć, że
It'll probably look the same anyway.
jest tylko 125 masterów z Europy i Stanów Zjednoczonych, czy tam North America, może się zakwalifikować.
No, that's for sure, that's for sure. I mean, just, you know, talk about
Plus jeszcze oczywiście ludzie z inwidami, tak?
A little bit, right? I mean, we've seen so many interesting decks, like
Dostanie invida automatycznie oczywiście
I want to talk about our pros
oznacza,
a little
że
bit. You know,
jesteś już,
people like
masz już
Iran,
gwarantowane miejsce na Worldsach.
last match of the stream
Póki co mamy dwóch.
spectacular. That was a show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I think it was one of my favorite games I've casted in quite some time. And it
O,
really
no
did
to
come
mamy
down to the
oczywiście
wire here.
Xander, Petro
This
i Ian
Pokemon
Rock
catcher
z
determined if
Day One,
Xander would win, or if Ian Robb would win, who would move into Day 2 with a 7-1
który oczywiście to
record.
Xander miał naprawdę
Once
ciężko, bo
Ian
mu
knew the
brakowało
situation
wtedy
on the
sad
right side of the table, and sure
i
enough,
piękny
big fall
headcik
for Zebra
na
to
finiszu.
bring up a
Już nie
one
wspominałem
rest
też o
take that
Piper grającej naszą polską banetą. Co to się dzieje, Ela? Grzeczne. Jeśli chodzi o... Ciekawe jak będzie wyglądać ogólnie meta w Day 2, bo akurat jak nie wiecie o tym, najwięcej było Raging Boltów, po ponad 14%. Zaokrąglam te wyniki. 14% były to Raging Bolty, było ich najwięcej, bardzo dużo było Terapagosów i Dragapultów. Z czego co też z danych można zauważyć, to to, że właśnie z czego co też można też zauważyć, no popularność Regidrago naprawdę mocno spadła. Co może być trochę dla niektórych zaskoczeniem, bo z deku S no coś poszło nie tak przy Stellar Crownie.
Raging Bolt is known for its consistency, but I've also seen the other side of the coin where players don't get Professor Sada in the first top half of their deck.
Jeśli o to chodzi, tak. To tak, najwięcej było tych Raging Boltów, potem były Terapagosy, potem był Dragapult, Lugi było trochę dużo, ale nie aż tak dużo. No spadła popularność Regidrago w Day One, co no do 8%. Jeszcze na Worldsach. Oho. A, jeszcze oczywiście to jest kolejny mecz z Day One, czyli ogólnie naprawdę mendek Okidogi. Jak ja to zobaczyłem, to powiem szczerze, what the fuck is going on? Wiecie, deck, którego nikt się nie spodziewał, co nie? Nie chodzi o tego dużego Okidogi, trując dużego... Ach, nawet połączenie udane, więc chyba miałem problemy z siecią. Znaczy jeśli chodzi o Regidrago, jeszcze na Worldsach była 1/4 populacji Worldsowej, a teraz było zaledwie 8. Nie jest już tak dużo tych Regidrago, jak było jeszcze w Worldsach. Chyba jednak to nie taki dobry deck, jak się wydaje. Zresztą też chyba w ogóle nie widuję Regidrago.
He told us that his son, you know, had another commitment this weekend, didn't even come to the tournament. He got into the game because of his son, and then it's a hobby that he's continued on with even without his child. You know, it's something he's just really continued to enjoy. Yeah, did unfortunately lose that win in, I do believe. So it was really cool to hear his interview, though. Jim seems like such a great, down-to-earth guy. I'd love to see him have success at a future regionals.
I'll try and find him for sure, just to get a recap. But right now, let's go
Piesek
ahead.
się uspokoił.
You know what? It's day 2. I believe we
Teraz
are
zobaczymy
back
sobie,
up and
jak
ready.
wygląda w
Let's
ogóle
go ahead
meta
and
w
throw
Day
it to the
2.
casters.
Bo
Thank you so much, Moncho. It is
O,
day
widzę, że
2
już
and
wcześniej pani była ubrana oczywiście w robaczki, teraz jest ubrana w duchy, więc widać, że zmiany są bardzo duże, więc no tutaj też widać, że już nie ma tu na twarzy, wiecie, czapki KBD, tylko ma
again, the 2025
Pina z
Regional
Gastlin.
Championships are bringing the electrifying action of the Pokemon trading card game to the global stage. Top trainers from across the world have gathered to compete for a share of over $125,000 in cash prizes, travel awards, and the all-important championship points that could secure their spot at World
No tak, bo tak jak mówię, zmienił się
Anaheim,
system.
California.
Bo w tym roku będzie w Anaheim w stanie Kalifornia. Warto zaznaczyć, że oczywiście osoba, która wygra tegoroczny te konkretne regio, czy internationala, ma automatycznie oczywiście dostanie się do Worldsów. Dalej może sobie grać, ale ma już zapewnione po prostu miejsce w Worldsach. Henry Chow dalej wierny swojej gardii.
Only one trainer will rise above the rest to claim the title of regional champion. Who will etch their name into the history books this weekend? And who will punch their ticket to Worlds 2025 in Anaheim? Don't miss a minute of the action. Stay tuned all weekend long to watch the battles unfold live. To stay up to date on future Play Pokemon events, visit pokemon.com/play.
No i mamy walkę z duchami kontra Lugia. Mamy Kierana Farera i Kyla Leśniewicza. Wiem, polsko brzmiące nazwisko, tak, Leśniewicz, kurde. No bo takie, wiecie, tak. Więc mamy bardzo ciekawe. Kieran dalej gra Lugią. Więc mamy tutaj Lugię i palkę z duchami. Wiecie, koszmar twój najgorszy koszmar to zawsze jest palkia z duchami. No chyba nie muszę mówić dlaczego. O Jezus, tam jest piesek! Ty serio, tam jest piesek. Kieran miał już na koncie oczywiście, jest finalistą oczywiście poprzednich regionalców w Stanach Baltimore. Więc będzie ciekawie. To chyba jest, no osoba jest chyba niewidoma z sędziów, bo to jest taki chyba, widzę, piesek już oznakowany jako, że pomoc. Aha, jeden Archops u Kierana. No i co ciekawe, mamy jednego ducha w prizach u Kyla. No tutaj Mist Energia w tym meczupie nie będzie, bo tutaj duchy akurat detonują się poprzez abilitkę, a nie poprzez atak. To jest bardzo ważna różnica. No i zobaczymy, jak kto ma jaki start. Walki z duchami są trochę ciężkie, ale potrafią być nawet upierdliwe. Ciekawe, ile weszło. Okej. Kieran zaczyna oczywiście z Minchino. A, widzę, że Kyle wykonuje od razu Squawk and Seize. Ach, tym samym dyskarduje od Feza i Prime Catchera. Au! Co może trochę być problematyczne później. No i ręka nie najgorsza. Da się coś ugrać. Mamy oczywiście jeszcze Mew w ręce, więc też jest tu bardzo dużo. Więc tak, widzę, że dyskarduje też Mew, więc ciekawe. Chyba, że nie jest on potrzebny na tym etapie. Mamy oczywiście jeszcze Greninja, więc widać francuska palkia. Widać inspiracją stał się chyba tym deku Stefan Ilanow. Jak ktoś nie wie, to właśnie w palki z duchami teraz gra się tak Greninja EX, który pierwszym atakiem może wyszukać dowolną kartę. Możesz to zrobić, ale nie musisz, ale większość jednak chce.
How do you think this goes as far as on paper for these players?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a slight advantage towards Kieran in a matchup like this. You have an opportunity to get very aggressive, make use of some high hit points on Lugia, but also incorporate that iron.
Tak, no i oczywiście używa Greninja. No i co dobiera? Nosze oraz... Jeśli nosze to akurat nie najgorsze, więc zobaczymy, co by chciał. No i pas. Widzę, że Kieran również dobiera Squawka, tym samym też... Jest oczywiście Tails, czyli bierze Basica. Znaczy nie wiem, może to nawet to i lepiej, bo Kieran by chciał mieć Lugię już od razu. Aczkolwiek tak jak mówię, no on ma już Squawka w ręku, więc jest duża szansa na zrobienie Squawk and Seeds. Tu trzeba dodać, że mamy jednego Archopsa w prizach, no i Iron Handsach, który no w tym matchupu nie będzie aż taki konieczny. No chyba, że chcemy jak najszybciej zrobić very much palki. 3 prizy. Greninja może być w tym matchupie mało konieczna, bo Lugia ma weakness, ale na Lightning. No chyba, że mówimy o Archopsach. No widzę, że to jest awaryjnie jedna Lugia. Czy on chce Squawka? Nie, nie robi Squawka. On ma też Researcha, widzę. Tak, chyba już wiem, czyli Squawk nie będzie. Czyli będzie discard z Researcha.
Let's make sure we condense the bench to a point that we're comfortable with. 2 Lugia makes a lot of sense. You're playing against Palkia. I mean, for goodness sake, you know this Pokemon.
Zagrywa oczywiście Jet Energię i oczywiście Research 3. No i discard Archopsa z Researcha. Co jest jeszcze lepsze? Ultra Ball czy discard z Researcha? Mamy kolejną oczywiście Aromę. I jest Heads. No i od razu oczywiście Archops. Wiadomo po co idę. Zaczynanie z drugim też jest nawet całkiem spoko. No tutaj nie jest to głupi numer z tą drugą Lugią, no bo chodzi o to, żeby w razie czego mieć tą Lugię. No i on zagrywa już Wind i bierze discard i 3 karty. Kyle coś myśli. Pewnie na pewno będzie jakaś detonacja duchów. Ech, pamiętacie Irida? To teraz się z nią będziemy żegnać. Rip Irida.
This newly renowned deck in the origin form of Palkia that brings us the water Pokemon and the water type.
Tak, no i co tam wyszuka z Irid? To jest ten... No, tak, czyli grywalny. Czyli na pewno wyszukał Palkię V-Star oraz Arten Vessel. On jeszcze się będzie wracał. No i dyskarduje Palkię, by wyszukać 2 energie. You now have the extra discards that you need, and these water energies are gonna go right back into play with your V-Star ability for the game. Yeah. So, and you have to think that Kyle's in a pretty favorable spot right now. Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean that's. No, czyli mamy 2 wody, no i jest pewnie będzie Greninja. Jest i Palkia. Znaczy ma jeszcze noszę, żeby przywrócić ewentualnego Pokemona lub... No i Greninja. O, czy tam jest Rotom? Czy mi się powiedziało? Nie, tam jest Rotom. To może trochę dziwić, dlaczego Rotom. The one time you want to draw bad cards, right? It's when you're about to discard with Ultra Ball. The rest of his hand is Night Stretcher, Rare Candy, Energy, and he's in the coś musi zrobić. Rotom doesn't really fit that strategy anymore, so. Tak, to mnie bardzo zciekawiło, że tam jest Rotom ogólnie, bo tego nie grali, powiem szczerze, bo Rotom zazwyczaj kojarzy się z Charizardem, z Pultem. Wiecie, o co tu Kaman, Snorlax, no występuje on w wielu dekach. Chyba będzie Candy Dusknor, więc to już jest gwarantowane, że będzie Candy Dusknor, a wiecie co to znaczy? Cursed Blast, pozbywamy się jakiegoś niewygodnego Pokemona ewentualnie. Więc duchy tutaj wchodzą, się zaczynają bawić. Czyli duch jeden. No i co ciekawe, Night Stretcher idzie po Mew, bo będzie teraz już w tej chwili potrzebny.
It seems like a pretty solid strategy to just play your hand down to nothing and draw 3 cards.
Tak.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, if we don't have a hand, then we need some more cards to the hand and Mew.
No i wchodzi Mew. No tutaj.
Restart ability. Fresh hand of 3 now from there. The Night Stretcher was able to pull that card out of the
No i Cursed Blast, co my się tu pozbywamy? Co chcemy się pozbyć? W Lugie!
Into a stage 2, and then it's gone because we have that Cursed Blast ability. Knocked itself out here. 13 damage counters going on the other side of the field thanks to that Cursed Blast. And now you're seeing how the synergy of this... Yeah.
O, właśnie, bo widzę, że tutaj Kieran zwraca słuszną uwagę, że nie może zrobić Iono. Więc auć! No i pozbywamy się Minccino oraz Lugi. Czy będzie pozbycie się Minccino? No tak, oczywiście, że będzie. Co byście myśleli, że nie? Tak, dobrze, że Kieran oczywiście zwrócił uwagę, że no przecież zagrał Iridę.
That lined up very well. Minccino's not exactly your favorite target in the matchup. He's not a large threat, but to take the additional prize card at this point, and look at the pressure that's on Kieran. He's trying to figure out what in the world do I even go after at this point. I don't have my Iron Hands to catch back up in prize cards. Knocking out this Radiant Greninja does nothing for me because my opponent can't charge it up again next turn.
No i mamy Lugię V-Star.
Or I need to go after some of these 2 prize Pokemon on
No ten, no też chyba też jest to kryptonim.
Yeah, I know the pressure's real definitely for Kieran here. We saw Kieran do everything possible in the last turn to get these Archeops.
Tak, no i V-Star
Now
po
we have the
Archeopsy.
option to evolve because we had only 1 turn. So now we're on our 2nd turn here. We have a Lugia V-Star out, those 2 Archeops down, keeping the bench again light for Kieran to be able to not add any damage over to Kyle's side. And now it's just a Lugia V-Star and some energy that are going to have to be attached to it to power up that Tempest dive to start getting things going on Kieran's side. But what are ways
Primer
that Kieran
turbo
can kind of
wychodzi.
turn the table in this matchup, sort of being on the back foot now, because Kyle only has 3 prize cards left to take.
Right, for Kieran it's all about
Tak, no oczywiście co się chęca nie ma, ale za to mamy oczywiście Gifta.
Fully committed to your Lugia V-Star as your attacker. If you can keep the board to just the Archeops, you'll feel pretty comfortable, but it's finding the actual raw copy of boss's orders that
Jeszcze wróci.
not the
Mamy
Luminion into that card, because then you're allowing your opponent to just have an easy 2 prize cards. You need to make
oczywiście mamy Mista, no i
Every prize indeed. Kyle, we're gonna see a bunch of energy coming out here on the field.
tutaj chyba widzę szykowanie na ewentualnego Wildira.
Little feature there. V-Star power pops out your Archeops and then they throw energies all around here. That's the bread and butter of the Lugia V-Star deck. It has been so prominent for us and Kieran Farah has definitely been one of the,
No cóż, mamy oczywiście tutaj Garda, który redukuje oczywiście do 30, co oznacza, że
Kieran said that he wears a ring, a Chen Pao ring for good luck as well. So how cute is that?
Okay, yeah, he's gotta pay
Back
homage
to the
to
roots?
the homeboys.
Yeah.
All right, there were definitely 2 strategies at this point. For Kieran, you could either full send, you could play Luminion.
Okej, widzę, że pozbyto się Greninja, no to oznacza
Iron Hands and then go boss squawk ability 3 prize cards win the game because your opponent gave you 1 with the Dusknor. Instead, goes for this slower approach, but I don't hate it because your opponent
widzę tu
doesn't
taki
have
kolejny
easy
duch.
access to a 2 prize knockout right
Musi
now,
być
so
w grze.
kind of at a level playing field.
Yeah, Kieran taking out that Radiant Greninja, the Gift Energy and the Iron Hands EX, or the selected cards from the prize cards as well. So Now, taking that slower pace here, we'll have to see if it pays off for Kieran. Kyle on the other side starting things out with that nest ball, bringing a Duskull onto the bench here for Kyle. So getting another Dusknor up and ready for these next turns coming up. Pokestop is going to be
Pokestop wchodzi i dopiero Iono.
into an Iono as well. So that was a pretty stacked hand here for Kieran. Lots of cards there that are all going to be going to the bottom of the deck, as well as Kyle's hand here. And then we're going to be drawing into some fresh cards. Only 3 for Kyle, 4 for Kieran.
A lot of fish, a lot of Ultra Ball for Kieran. So
O,
ways to search
we be
out those
weirdier.
orders not going to be found. And for Kyle, that was multiple rare candy, a Dusknor, a Greninja, all the evolutions that you'd like to see were there.
chyba
but none of
wchodzi
the basic
Stretcher.
Pokemon. So these additions, this Night Stretcher into Pheasantipity, allowing you to extend your board a little further, put more damage on Palkia. Every 20 damage counts at this point, so fill that board as best you can.
Yep, Pheasantipity EX coming out, buffing up the damage from Palkia, also allowing for some flip the script action for Kyle. We're gonna restart first here from that Mew EX. So
Set the shoe.
O, mamy buty.
There it is.
one copy of tracking shoes in the list here for Kyle.
Jedna
And
kopia?
that's it. So
I którzy to
hopefully
mają
that's
moc?
the utility
No z rytej
here
dają
from
4.
Kyle. It's an Ultra Ball, and there's debate here on whether or not to keep it. Throwing it in the discard pile, taking the next
No
card
i mamy
up,
Garnets.
is the Earthen Vessel.
Hobbled his way into an earthen vessel.
Yeah,
We'll take
right?
it. that's a good resource
Those
at
are
this
some
point.
wa-
You need the energy to attack.
Some walking shoes, if I'd ever say so, Kyle.
Cheers.
Taking his way over there.
Yes, exactly. Well, we got there, the Earthen Vessel. Now discarding that secondary Pokestop here for Kyle to search out these water energy. That is one thing.
No,
all
nie
these
wiem,
water
czy
energy
wiem.
goes to that Radiant Greninja in the
O
initial turn.
tym, że
It
Kiera
uses
ma
move, it has to throw it back
Widira.
away. And now Kyle's having to search out these other energies to be able to accelerate them to the field here onto that Origin Form Palkia V-Star that only has a single water energy so far. So we're
No,
setting
to
up,
spisze
here for
lecą.
Kyle, nice and slow, and just trying to steadily close out the
No
rest of the
yes,
game.
flip
Still
the
have that flip the
script.
script because a knockout happened in the previous turn as well. We see that Greninja EX, a Nest Ball, an additional Earthen Vessel, so lots of resources.
Yeah, just an additional Pokemon at this point is so valuable, and we'll get a little more of a feel.
O,
for what
tutaj
Kyle wants to
chyba
do to close out
Nestball.
a game like this.
Oj,
As
co?
you mentioned, all the energies used on that
Nestball
Radiant
po
Greninja mean that you've already
małego
used your V-Star ability.
Frogiego.
You don't have many other attacks that you can use for 1 energy or less. And you see Kyle, he's mulling it over. Is Greninja EX really going to be my best attacker here? Do I put all my eggs in the Blood Moon basket and go that strategy? Because after you attach this water to the Palkia, you only have access to 0 or 1 cost attacks.
And that can be tricky here. I love to see it at least. The little frog coming out. I mean, Greninja EX, it was so hyped when we initially saw this card, but we haven't seen much of it on our stages. So I'd be excited to see that in
No i
action
tutaj
here, in
retreat.
the form of the Palkia V-Star deck as a partner Pokemon. But right now, it's going to be this Origin Form, Palkia V-Star, Subspace Swell. Like we said,
Nie wiem,
it's 60 base
110.
damage, 20 damage for each bench Pokemon, but it's not just your bench, it's your
No i
opponent's
tu jest
as
ten
well.
Weirdir
That's why we've
wspomniany.
been seeing Kieran Farah keep his bench nice and light to not add that damage on from Kyle. And so we're seeing a big hit into that Lugia V-Star. It's heavily damaged now, only 110 HP left to go. And it looks like he's really mulling over this next upcoming turn.
Yeah, Kyle, taking into consideration the V-Guard energy that's attached to this Pokemon, just the damage reduction, but it doesn't come into play when you think about that rare candy.
Pokestop!
13 damage counter still takes the knockout on this Pokemon. And ooh, for Kieran, that's just losing 3 cards, one of which is a boss's orders. Not what you're looking to see. That Iono was pretty good for Kyle.
Yes, and I think we saw it. Kieran looked at the
No i
hand,
wchodzi
like, oh, these are all
całe
the
na
cards
biało.
I'm losing
A
right
Renifer.
now. Bottom only drawing into 4 cards, and now it's looking to unfortunately put Kieran in a bit of a pickle. The Pokestop was rolled. Very valuable resources were thrown away, unfortunately, on it.
No i mamy
Kieran just had the
Archopsy.
Weirdir V coming down onto the bench and is now going to power things up here with that Archeops, but is definitely not looking like it's as smooth as we'd want it to go here for Kieran Farah.
Yeah, a lot of energy in the hand, a Lugia V-Star, not much to work with. You just can't do anything other than throw down cards with Primal Turbo and giddy up. And it's a lot of energy.
No,
to play.
śpieszyła
You
sobie,
should be
tak?
close to that knockout range, but all your eggs are in this basket now, buddy. You gotta figure it
No.
out from here. And
Chodzi
Yeah, susceptible
Weird.
indeed. Weird V is going to come into the active position here. It's a
Ta,
ability
mamy-
Frontier Road allows all of these energies to be shifted
Tak, no i
onto
on
it.
jeszcze
And then
doczepia
it's
Legacy
doing more
energię.
damage for each energy attached here. This is how you see this Pokemon take huge knockouts in these games and take down these
Tak,
giant
wchodzi oczywiście
Pokemon
sam.
it faces off against. I mean, that origin form
Jeszcze
probably
robi,
starts
nie wiem.
280 HP there, so it's gonna need quite a bit here from Kieran to be able to get there.
sometimes the energy placement is a work of art. I don't know what to call this. I don't.
Look at that.
That is ridiculous.
Oh my goodness. We still have another Archeops to work with for this Primal Turbo. Each of them, they stack up their resources here. One ability was used, and now another can be used to take out two other energy out. One's going to go on to that Archeops as a follow-up attacker. Archeops has been swinging in many
Niestety
matchups
wiadomo.
as well for the Lugia deck. So Mist Energy going to go on to there. And just protect
Tak,
it
no i
too.
całkowicie
That's
nokautuje
gonna be the
oczywiście
swing
Palkię.
here. That big giant 280 HP origin form Palkia V-Star going down here. 2 prize cards for Kieran, bringing it down to 2 left to take home this
No.
game. And Kyle now 3 left to take here. Had everything lined up. We had the Duskull last turn that could now be evolved if we have the resources there into the Dusknoir to get some extra damage out.
No dobra,
Plenty
widzę,
of
że
ways to
nasz...
draw into cards with the restart, with the flip the script. And Kyle just has to get there. Remember, I think we're still working off that Iona hand from before for Kyle. That was limited cards, so I'm interested to see what we're working with here, Kyle.
Well, there's plenty of draw. You have the Pokestop, you have the Mew restart, you have the Pheasantipity to flip the script as well. And Kyle takes the rare candy Greninja out of the
Czyżby
solution
no nie
now at
miało
this
to
point.
sensu?
Understands the rare candy is necessary for the Dusknoir and doesn't want to go for the double at this point. It's tricky though because you have knockout on the Weirdeer with the fighting weakness of the Greninja.
Tam widzę, że
This is
sprawdza
Pokemon,
tam
that's one of your
listę, czy
prizes.
ma.
Rare Candy Dusknoir is your other 2 prizes on the Lugia to close out the match. So he's gonna play down his resources and see where he gets, but it's getting tough.
Well, Blood Moon Ursaluna here
No.
being benched. That's a key card here for Kyle as well. We're gonna start to see what cards are being.
it's
Whoa,
Rare
look at
Candy
that!
Dusknoir!
Rare Candy
Czy
Dusknoir
będzie
as the 2 cards
Warren
on the from the Mew EX.
Candy
Those are the
duchy.
exact 2 cards needed to get into this evolution, into the Dusknoir. That's gonna be the
Tak,
knockout there
no
on
i
that Lugia
dochodzą.
V-Star, cleaning it up off the bench.
No
That's
i
2
Ursa
prize cards
Luna
there for
dobija.
Kyle. And then we have that knockout to bring home this game from a
Ile
Mew
meczów po
EX
tym, co
restart.
teraz grają, mniej więcej
The
będzie?
winner here
O,
of the first
no
game.
to trochę jest.
He's like, no
To
shot.
zależy od liczby graczy.
Didn't even have to flip the script.
Ogólnie
And
to
well
zależy od
done.
liczby graczy. No trzeba też dodać, że będą długie przerwy, bo przy okazji będą jeszcze tam inni gracze, plus jeszcze jakieś takie zgadywanki czy głosowania na przykład.
Exactly. We
No,
got there.
chyba tam będzie
Kyle
z
led the way
8
here,
minut?
so
Czy
unfortunate to see from
na
Kieran.
pewno to
He put up
będzie,
a good fight, but this-
że
this
z kategorii
brand
do
new
jutra
event
siedzenia.
in this format, is
No bo
back
to
on
jest
the scene,
USA
and
po
it is
prostu, tak?
swinging here, and Kyle
Inna
is
strefa
showcasing
czasowa
that
to
so
i
well.
inne
It's
warunki.
not against that Lugia V-Star. Let's take a quick look,
To jest ten pierwszy
Kyle, at
mecz
the
day 2.
recap here, because you're Kyle.
Kyle oczywiście tutaj prowadzi.
I'll roleplay as
Bardzo
well.
miał naprawdę top deck
Thank you very much.
hartowny.
Yeah, so
Jedno co mi się nie
nice.
podoba to
Building up
właśnie
that
te
relationship
przerwy.
and
Podobno jak w
very
CS-ie
good
grają
Dusknoir,
od tych
220 into the Lugia, cleaning up the
taktykach.
Minchino,
No,
those prize cards.
znaczy no te przerwy są czasem długie, aczkolwiek starają się faktycznie, jakby na to nie patrzeć, zająć publiczność. No są jeszcze te reklamy, co jest też klasyczne. I w ogóle to co jest fajne, no to super to zagrał, dorwał Dusknoira i dobił Lugię. I jeszcze Ursaluna weszła. Więc 1-0 dla Kyla Liśniewicza. Leśniewicz. Nie wiem, jak by tu się mówić. No, więc jeszcze to jest 28. Mecze trwają po 50 minut. O, no nie, ciekawy start po stronie Kyla, czyli Pheasantipity EX. Tutaj super start po stronie Kierana, czyli Lugia.
first now into this game too. We're gonna have
No
to
i
see a
tutaj
lot of
Kieran
pressure
coś
being
spieszy,
put on
Lugia
early on,
zawsze idzie
as we saw
pierwsza.
in that last game. Kyle was
Tutaj
able to capitalize
tym
on
razem
those early
sprajzowano
prize
jedną
cards, and that
Legacy
really turned the
energię.
tides for Kieran from the get-go,
Well,
having to limit your bench. Oh no!
Yeah,
What's happening?
this is terrifying for Kieran. Not only does
I
he have
dwa
the Iron Man,
pozordery!
he says, "Alright, we can turn
I
this around."
u
No
Kyla
big
sprajzowała się jedna
no
para
way
palki,
to attack
jeden
this
duch,
Pokemon
Pokestol,
this time
energia
around.
i co ciekawe
Cannot
jedno Rare
let
Candy.
the hand that's been dealt to him.
I mean, not only that, but look at the
Sprajzowanie
rest of the
Legacy
players.
energii
They're all
oznacza
very
to,
bad.
że
Anyways,
Kiera nie może
turns,
zagrać
and then
Ampiu
Rare
Very
rolls out
Much.
on some of these lower hit point 2 prize Pokemon. Boss's orders is gone. That is devastating news for Kieran. Has to just go for a streamlined play. Play the Squawkabilly, throw cards in the discard pile.
No to
attack
co?
Lugia V-Star, and hopefully see the Legacy energy soon, but
No i kolejny Tails niestety.
It is not coming up soon indeed. Kyle, on the other hand, with the prize cards, there is a pair of the V and the V stars, so we have one each in the deck left for Kyle. But we saw there's other attackers too. I mean, not only do you still have your one Origin form,
Jest no
Pop
kolejny
V-Star
Hex.
down the line, so I mean that's definitely not
Wiecie,
as
trochę tu
detrimental
gam-
as Kieran's prize cards. One of those rare candy prize as well, but Kyle definitely has a better odds here with the prize cards at least.
yeah, I would say
Cóż,
with
no
the
niestety
Origin
tutaj-
from Palkia V, there is an opportunity for the Lugia V-Star to Boss's orders for regular energy, as long as none
No,
of the
trzeba też
Ultra
powiedzieć,
Rose
że
are
chyba
that
Kieran gra tu
boss
aż
orders
4
take
boss
time,
ordery.
limit your opportunities
To jest
to
dużo, więc 2 z nich się sprajzowały.
use Moonlight Shuriken and really start to disrupt the board. So going first in this matchup, still a great help, but this hand is not going to help you at all.
Tak, tu mamy tego Minchino. Myśli, co? O ja, no niestety tym razem Windrira nie będzie. Nie, niestety nieciekawe, bo nie ma Archopsa. Gdzie jest Archops?
That Minchino on the board too with that Squawkabilly, so that's already 2 Pokemon for the board for Kieran, and we're gonna have to have those Archeops.
No i niestety pas. No
so
niestety
it's gonna be
zabrakło
a
Archeopsa
wider
do
board from Kieran this
z
time around.
dyskardowania.
Favorite part for Kieran as he looks at a hand which is incredible
And then
and has to just
pretends it's
sell
bad.
it to his opponent that it's utter trash.
Że tak jak mówię, nie wiem czy zdążymy to całe obejrzeć, bo to jest
But
w USA, a w USA to wiecie jakie tu są no, inna strefa czasowa, no to jest ogólnie w Kentucky się to dzieje. No więc wiecie, w zależności od stanu tak.
Hey, I'll tell you what, Kieran, that is one of the traits that he has that he does well. There's some
W
mind
zależności
games
oczywiście
here when
od
playing
stanów,
Pokemon TCG that
gdzie
you
to
can definitely
odbywają
enact,
się,
and
no
it's
na szczęście tych
fully
amerykańskich
in your capability to
eventów
do
jest
so.
mało
Kieran
właśnie z tego
definitely-
powodu,
he
że
always looks
no
miserable
one
when
się,
he's playing, and I
one
love
no
it. It's
niestety
great,
przez
but
to, że to jest
yeah, over
inna
on the
strefa
other side,
czasowa, no
sometimes you
tutaj
can't
się zaczyna
stop
akurat o
what is
17,
gonna
bo
happen to you
bywały
next.
takie
That is the
czasówki,
supporter
że
here
trzeba
for
sobie
Kyle.
do
That would be rough
do
to
siego
see,
rana
but Kieran
siedzieć,
has
żeby w ogóle
fantastic
obejrzeć to
coming up
całe.
here. We'll see what happens in
Więc
this
no wiecie,
first
jak się ogląda
initial tournament for
amerykańską
Kyle. Surging through the deck off
wszystkie
his nest ball.
turnieje,
Into the
no to
ground
jest
that
bardzo
Greninja
ciężko.
saw what utility this Greninja
Tak
had
jak
in
mówimy
the
tu o
last match.
drugim końcu
Throw away
świata.
those energy into the discard pile, start lining up options for your attackers later in
No
this game.
mogłabym wziąć sobie ten telefon, ale psy mnie
We got in the
podsiadł.
hand from Kyle. He's going to be able to utilize some more cards before any supporters or not.
Yeah, there was double nest ball. Looks like found some purple friends, which is
No, będzie
nice to
oczywiście
see rare
przerwa,
candy
żeby
in the game
nakarmić
too, so
psy.
actually just has the whole line ready to go.
Could just hold it.
Mamy
He does
Greninja.
have information now. He knows that it is the Palkia, so place it down. Hopefully it sticks around. And
Oj, mamy
currently
sobie
your opponent
Palkię.
does not have an answer that I saw, but Ultra Ball with some help would be able to get there.
Yeah, there's got to be mind games on the other side too. Can't give away that this is your singular Palkia that you have, but it's got to come out onto the field and hopefully get its full utility.
A ten Mateo Behemoth to będzie live czy zwykłe wideo? Zwykłe wideo. No ja kiedyś zrywałem nocki na turnieju Street Fightera 4 i 5. No, to jest właśnie ten. Tak, ten Behemoth to będzie zwykłe wideo, to nie będzie żaden live, to jest po prostu zwykły materiał wideo. On się robi. No ciekawe, czy Kieran zdobędzie lepszą rękę po Iono.
Rare candy and ducks, and you're about to
No, tu
give
mamy
your opponent
Rotoma.
prize
Mnie
cards,
ciekawi
about 50
fakt,
prize cards. and then you'd
No dobra, jest Archops. Jak jeszcze z Mezagozy, to już lecimy.
the shoe
There's Dustnor Rare Candy again.
into Dustnor Candy
That's what I'm
again
saying. It
with
was the
Rotom
shoe.
if you want to just draw up.
The singular pair of shoes. It's a
No, to jest ciekawa rzecz, że tutaj
the most influential card here so far
kill.
in both of these games. That's pretty wild. Well, we have the pivot here from this Serendipity EX. Have the energy attached already
Myśli, co by tu-
onto it for Kyle.
I think this is just Radiant Greninja.
Oj, znowu gry ninja.
Except the fact that Moonlight Shuriken probably isn't on the board for you.
No
If it
jest i
is,
Rotom.
means your opponent already had the boss for the Palkia.
Bardzo ciekawe
You were gonna
zagranie.
be, paddling anyways.
Exactly, and now this
Pomysł
is where the
dodawanie
game
Rotoma do
comes
palki
into
z
play.
duchami.
We saw it thrown away to an Ultra Ball in the last game. Now it's serving
No
as
jest
utility here
Ultra
in that
Ball.
charge, trying to
Wow,
create additional
yeah,
cards
so.
for the upcoming turns for Kyle.
Jeżeli
And of
się
course,
uda
also
tego
buffing that
Archopsa
damage
wydropić, to
for the
mamy
Palkia coming
Ultra
up.
Ball z dwóch Archeopsów.
It's the big flip here. Mezagoza.
No i lecimy. Jest Hetz! Jest! A wiecie, co to znaczy? Ultra Ball, dwa Archopsy najprawdopodobniej.
Be found here. The Ultra Ball is in hand. The Archeops is already there. So if you find the Lugia with this one, then the Ultra Ball finds the Luminion. That means boss's orders and goodbye Palkia V.
Oh my goodness, we could get there even despite all the prize cards working against Kieran. That is what we're going to be seeing.
Czy będzie
here.
jeden
Ultra Ball
Archops?
Here, grabbing that Luminion, you see that boss's orders being established nice and early here for Kieran, realizing
A
this
nie,
is
mam
the
dwa Archopsy!
Palkia V needs to be
Jo,
taken down here
dwa
from the
Archopsy
beginning
już
start.
są.
All the pieces came
Mamy
together.
jeszcze
Saw the
Minccino.
bring out those Archeops. Now they're primal to
No i
all
będzie.
of the special energy out of the deck here from Kieran onto this beast.
Będzie gotowanko, będzie.
This is what we've been dreading.
Mezagoza
From
oka
Kyle's side
była
of the field,
sukcesem.
because we're only working with that single Palkia V. So once it's gone, I guess it'd have to be next
Europejskie
turn.
turnieje to już wiadomo,
It had
będą
to be
one
Kuroki last turn.
wiadomo działały zgodnie z naszym polskim czasem, więc tutaj nie będzie takiego problemu, jak się obejrzy na przykład francuskie regionalsy, gdzie faktycznie jest tam równa przestrzeń czasowa i nie trzeba zbywać mocy. Tak, no i dostał się do jednego z dwóch dostępnych bossów. No i dyskardujemy. 220. No i... no i odblokowano kolejnego bossa.
It's wiped off the field. 2 prize cards down. Kyle re-promoting that Radiant Greninja now into the active position. as
Kyle
we
nie
kick
jest
off
w ciekawej
this next
sytuacji.
turn
Mamy
here. Like you
jeszcze
said,
tutaj...
that is an attacker that
No,
is now
tutaj może
eliminated
być
here, and that is one aspect of this deck.
20
There's a lot of
minut.
evolving in here. All the support Pokemon are basics. They draw you cards, they're basics you throw down to get those cards, but the rest, besides the Radiant Greninja, have to be evolved into either with those rare candies or just hard evolutions, and that's where it can be a bit of a pickle here for Kyle.
Right. You can
No,
give
jest
your
problem.
opponent some
Duchy
additional
prize
będą.
card
With the Dustnor and
Nawiedzą nas duchy.
take the Cinccino if you
Oj,
want, but
Elusia.
You're not accomplishing anything relevant. You're not getting anywhere closer to the Blood Moon being able to attack this turn. You're just nothing gets there at this stage. So you have to take this slower approach, and you just can't really afford that when your opponent is staring you down with this Lugia, and we know they've got a boss.
Exactly. Ooh, that's so detrimental here. Not what
Czy
you want to be
będzie
seeing
red
from Kyle, I'm
duchy?
sure. At least Kyle has picked up the first game. So if Kieran's able to solidify this second game, we'll go into a game 3, and that's pretty exciting here for these players. But look at the clock here. 20 minutes.
Czy zdążą?
So it is going to have to be...
Znaczy jest dużo
if this
czasu.
game continues to go super slowly, it could be kind of awkward here. So Rare Candy's going to kick us off into a Dusknoir. That is our first evolution that we see. It's becoming big, but it's not going to stay there very long for Kyle.
Yeah, I don't know if it's enough resources to make much of a game out of it at this point. If
No i
it's
zapewne
just
będzie
boss
boss
loaded from
Feza.
Kieran, pretty much understands that this is an
No
insurmountable
zobaczymy.
to come back from, but you have to keep trying. But as you also said, with the time that we have left, there is a point where you have to just throw in the towel, and I think that's going to be around the 16-minute mark. Give yourself exactly enough time to close out, and that might line up perfectly with when the boss is.
That's true. That is true. We're definitely going to have to see how these next turns go.
Ale
And if
zobaczymy,
it's
co tam
enough
będzie.
pressure that Kyle just scoop things up and goes to another turn here. But
No, jest
look at that.
Nesball.
Wait, we have the Iona in hand?
Yeah, looks like that was found off of the pheasant dip. Flip the script.
Oh,
So
we're
No,
flipping
jest
it.
ten mały
which means that you could slow down your opponent from that one
żabojad.
boss's orders. They have to take a non-V or EX knockout on the Pokemon like that Radiant Greninja. You buy one more turn.
Co tam, Maluś?
But what are you really accomplishing other than, well, I played down some Pokemon this turn and I still need to get a couple rare
Exactly.
candies in order to have a great turn.
Yeah, you never really want to be buying turns as a Pokemon TCG player. You want to be ahead of the game. You want to be making sure that your opponent's trying to buy turns, but buying turns only gets you so much. You still have to get to your
No,
win. So if that outweighs
takie kupowanie czasu. Mamy tutaj oczywiście Frogiego. Czyli jest jakiś potencjalny Greninja.
And Froaky's gonna start getting charged up here from Kyle.
Well, Luminion doesn't have an ability to use this turn, Kieran, but he throws
Tak,
down
no
the
jest znowu
Pokemon.
Rotomik,
Just
kurde.
loading up Pokemon and make sure
Kieran
that,
oczywiście
you
ma
have
tym razem
access
świetny
to
start.
some good knockouts. Looks like Luminion protected with the gift energy.
Yeah.
In case that Pokemon were to be targeted, you would have a nice fresh hand after an Iono.
Pretty.
Maybe you can throw some energy on Cinccino if you'd like, just to thin out the deck a little bit.
Yeah, that Lugia V-Star super protected. 3 missed energies on it.
Shrouded
No.
in the clouds.
Yes, exactly. Flying through the clouds, indeed. Gift energy also.
Aha,
going
widzę,
down
że
onto that spot
opcją-
ability. We see this strategy here from Kieran. That's so cool. All these
Tak,
good
widzę, że
energies
przygotowanie do
being thrown out onto the field,
Wildira, raczej
protecting,
nie do Wildira.
later on if they're knocked out. Fresh hand for Kieran. Look how slim the hand is right now. And-
No i
but
boss order,
Kieran with the
Fezan,
boss
DPD,
orders,
pozbawiając.
as we were talking about, it's going to target down these 2 prize card Pokemon. Pheasantipity being wiped off the field. That's another 2 prize cards. And
No
Boss
i auć.
Orders is in the prize cards here.
Znaczy, on ma
Look
jeszcze
at it
nosze, żeby
once again
przywrócić.
for Kieran. So, Kyle
No
is
i
gonna
kolejny
really
boss
have to
został
decide what to do
odblokowany.
here going from this turn. Kieran has worked himself in a dominant position so far in this match. 2 prize cards left to take. Kyle can use all the night stretchers here, but again,
Czy
Kyle,
chce
what do
zrobić
we
ducha?
You rare candy into Greninja, play the Pheasantipity, use Iono.
Dusknoir can still
You
Curse Blast.
can use one Dusknoir, it's the one in the active,
Yes.
and that will.
Tak,
that will
potem się
line up for
okazuje,
knockout
że
on
no
the
reszty-
active Lugia V-Star. But the problem is you played Iono and you're going to walk into a gift energy. Your opponent has a boss's orders and an open bench space, a Cinccino that can knock out anything, and Rotom and Pheasantipity are looking juicy at this point. I just don't think that this is a time where you can put the effort into this and watch the clock melt away when you have a pretty good chance at a game 3.
Yeah, I was just thinking that going into a game 3, especially if you get to choose whether you go first or second, that's pretty big here. So we'll have, I mean, Kyle's sending it here. We have this Greninja EX. At least it's cool seeing the Greninja EX.
Yeah.
Hey,
And
on
it's-
the
it's-
stage.
Wraca tu
Boy, a lot of
Greninja.
hit
O,
points.
o, fuck it.
searches out
Ilunia.
any card for you, but
Yeah, it's nice.
Wow, 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 wow. Co tu się zawiesiło?
Now what? Well, rare candy into this Greninja EX. The small
Co tu
little
się
broken
stanęło?
70 HP, and now a big Greninja EX. 300
Tak, teraz, o,
and
widzę, że tam był wielki Greninja i tu się nagle...
as well as a secondary Dusknoir
O.
coming into play.
use
Wait,
them both and go to game
Chwilunia!
two rare candies?
No, it's a Dusclops. Oh, well,
Oh, it's
yeah,
a
the
Dusclops.
Dusclops.
Oh,
Okej,
okay.
okej, chwila, bo tu się coś zawiesiło. I to mi się nie podoba. Nie. Komputer robi mi odmowę. Nie, no kurwa, ej! Aaaa! No nie? Chwila.